In today's video, I'm answering the questions that you leave in my comment section, and they're about everything and everything. So let's crack on, shall we? Because there's one that I think you might all disagree on, because I think you're doing it wrong. Now, like I say, I'm currently at Oak Tree Motorhomes. I've been working with them, taking a few vans out lately. You've probably seen them videos, and there'll be more videos to come. But I thought I'd take a break from that because it is piddling down and I don't really want to be out in the rain. But I thought I'd jump into some vans and answer a load of your questions whilst having a little look around. Why not? Why not? So let's go, shall we? God, the weather is grim out there. When's summer going to arrive, eh? Come on, we want some sunshine. That's what we're waiting for, to all get back out, get the barbecues out, and just chill out together in a field with all our mates. I know that's what I'm hankering for. I don't know about you. What are you looking forward to this year? I can't wait to get back out there properly and hang out with you all. Right, first question. Now, this question has been asked in a few ways multiple times, and it's basically asking me about relationships, being on my own, being single. Am I looking for someone? Am I gonna, try and find someone? What happens if Miss Right comes along? Am I gonna leave the motorhome? And I mean, this question, you lot are obsessed by it. You really are. Now, if Miss Right come along, let's just clarify this straight away. If Miss Right came along and she then wanted me to move out of a van, like my motorhome, into a house, then she's not really Miss Right, is she? I mean, let's face it, I don't want that. I want to live on the road. I want to live in my motorhome. I want to travel and I want to continue this lifestyle. So then if Miss Right wants to come along and try and change that for me, then technically she's Miss Wrong. I don't want to be rude about it, but that's where I'm at with that. Am I looking for anything? Am I not? What's the situation? I'm open and easy, if I'm honest. If a lovely lady comes along, then yeah, I'm happy to, well, I don't know what you want me to say. You're after some juicy tidbits. I know you really are. I mean, if a lovely lady comes along and I meet her and we hit it off and we can travel and hang out and do things, then yeah, that's fantastic. Am I actively seeking, and pining, I need to find, I need to find a woman, I need to find, a partner and all this and that? No, I'm really not. I'm pretty fine on my own. I've got so many mates. I've got such a community around me. Let me just say this way. I would love to be able to then hang out with someone and go for food and go to the cinema and all things like that. That I'm definitely up for. That would be brilliant. That really would, because I love sharing moments like that. I mean, I hang out with all my mates quite a lot, and we go to places, and they're the moments that you remember, isn't it? It's like they're the things that you're building memories and having fun and having a laugh, right? So that's what I love. So yeah, if I could find someone that wants to hang out every now and again, and then go for some decent food and maybe a movie, then wicked. But my lifestyle is very unique. I am always traveling. I'm always here, there and everywhere. I don't sit still. In an ideal world, it would have to be another van lifer that kind of gets what my situation is. I hope that has answered your question. Again, if you have got any follow-up questions to that, which I'm sure you have, please do drop them in the section below. How cool is this van? Look at the bucket seats. They're like proper wrap-around bucket seats. Look at that. Look. It's a proper tricked out interior of this V-Dub. Looks brilliant. I know a lot of the V-Dub lovers are going to love this. Right, next question. What's one thing you thought would be easy in van life but absolutely isn't? I wouldn't say absolutely isn't easy. I would just say one thing I probably wasn't expecting, and that is the constant travel. I thought that'd be easy. I thought that'd be amazing. I thought that was living the dream, literally, But yeah, I would say probably the constant full-time travel, that can get tiring, and that can grate on you and drain you over time. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and I don't think many people talk about it. It's like the full-time travel fatigue. It is a thing. I talked to a few of my friends about it that are full-time, and they've been doing it for many years. I mean, I've been doing this like 9 years now, so yeah, that's probably one that I wasn't expecting. That is something that's not like, oh, it's a deal breaker. You just got to take a few steps to to combat it and to help it and fix it. and that means by, you know, stopping somewhere for a couple of days, you know, here and there, in between the full-time travel. But yeah, I'll probably say that, to be fair. I am loving this sofa. It's so comfy. Next question. Would you convert your own van? Why didn't you? Why did you go motorhome? And are you going to convert a van? I did actually think about converting my own van when I first got introduced into van life and people living in vehicles, which was by Pete, who now owns my old motorhome. I soon realised that I have no skills when it comes to building. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that didn't have any skills and they've built their own van, and I tip my hat to them, I really do. If you've built your own and you know you're rocking around and you're in it, then you are a legend, you really are. I know I would have started and I wouldn't have probably finished. Now that being said, I know even motorhomes, they're never finished. Motorhomes, camper vans, conversions, they're never finished. You're always tweaking them and changing them and doing this, that and the other. 1, I haven't got the skills. 2, I didn't have a location to build one. 3, I'd have to go buy all the tools. I literally own nothing. I think the most tool I own is a screwdriver and a tape measure. That's it. That is pretty much it. So I'd need to go and, you know, get everything and then find somewhere to do it. And I didn't want that. I started to then think about it and it was like, nah, it's just not going to work. So then I started looking at motorhomes and they just seem to work for me really, really well. They're done. I can then modify them as I want and see fit. Now, would I convert a van? Again, probably not. I'm not really like got that, you know, desire to convert a van and you know, go do that. Now that being said, I have been thinking recently about a fishing van. So it would be just like a small little Berlingo kind of van that could have a single bed maybe that could fold up into the wall, and it would hold all my fishing gear, and then I could go on, you know, nice trips around the UK that I could then be away from my motorhome, and I could sleep at the lakeside or wherever in the van, but have all my fishing gear with me. Now it wouldn't be like a all singing, all dancing kind of van. It would be pretty small, pretty basic, probably just run on a power bank, and yeah, it'd have to be low, so there would be no standing up in it, because I want to get under height barriers and things. So I have thought about doing that. I don't know if you guys want to see that. I mean, you can let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do that, because I know I'd make a right hash of it. I really would. It would be quite shocking, my level of skills, let's just say that. But yeah, as far as converting vans go, that's probably as far as I've thought and I would go. Just as a side note, as I'm about to go to the next motorhome, how nice is this layout? You've got a bed above the cab, so that's like my old one, but it's a lot more open, a lot, you know, and you have got a skylight up there. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's nice and light up there. Should have had that when I was just filming a minute ago. Yeah, that's nice. But then look at this lounge. How good is this? So you've got a nice sofa here, which is a tiny bit of an L, and then a sofa here as well. I'm assuming that will pull out into a bed of some sort. You've got your captain's chairs, and then you spin round. You've got your kitchen at the very end, and then you've got your toilet and shower, and that's a big shower. And then you come out there, and then you've got a wardrobe here as well. The only one downside to this is there's probably not going to be that much outside storage for like bikes and, you know, all the stuff that I have. But this, I mean, this is a beautiful layout. It really is. I love this. I could definitely take something like this away for a weekend. Can you think of how many people I can have in there in the lounge, you know, whilst we're eating cheese? That would be brilliant. That is, yeah, look, I mean, just, yeah. And then your bed's always still made up there, so you've got a ready made up bed all the time, but you've got all this space. That looks like an infill, so you've got 4 travelling, is it 4 travelling? Yeah, 4 travelling seats with the seat belts. Yeah, I'm loving this layout. Again, I'm so nosy. I love these. Right, I suppose I better tell you what that is. That's a C63. It's just come in. I don't know what it is. Expedition Auto Trail. There we go. It's just come in. They haven't even done anything with it yet. So Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Next question, and this couldn't have worked out better if I'd tried. Would you ever consider a left-hand drive motorhome? Okay, so it depends on how you're going to use it. First off, you've got to be a confident driver, because you are on the opposite side and you're still in the UK. So, you know, there's going to be a few, you know, things that are going to, you know, surprise you. So you're going to have to be a bit of a confident driver, right? Next thing is, where are you going to be spending most of your time? Now, if I was going to be over in Europe predominantly and traveling all around Europe, then yeah, it'd probably be a good option to go for, because, well, they're all left-hand drive over there, right? No, left. Lastly, I'd probably say it depends on if you're looking for a bit of a bargain, because obviously left-hand drives are, you know, not as desired in the UK, which means you could pick up a bargain. So this Heimer might be a little bit more expensive in the right-hand version than the left one. Now, don't quote me on that, not, you know, it's not 100% sound, but it goes along the same lines of stuff that's 5 ton or 6 ton or 7 ton, where people are now not really having the licenses to do that, because obviously back in the day, people had grandfather rights and they could drive up to 7.5 ton. So that was fine. So everyone had the option to get a heavy vehicle and drive it no matter what. They didn't need to test. But now that doesn't exist, and you have to take the relevant tests to be able to drive heavier vehicles. The current heavy vehicles that are out there, again, they can present a little bit more of a bargain, because not as many people have got the correct license to drive them. So if you are looking for a bit of a bargain, then left-hand drive and a heavy vehicle might be the way to go. I know you didn't really ask about the weights and that kind of thing, but would I ever have a left-hand drive vehicle? Well, funny starts out, I should probably tell you a very cheeky little story. Now, many years ago, I don't know what got into my brain. I really don't. I have some stupid ideas at times. I really do. And I think Luke and Tash and most of my mates will attest to that, because yeah, I have a lot of stupid ideas. And this one stupid idea I had involved me buying a smart car, you know, the tiny little 2-door little box vehicles, which I did buy in left-hand drive, and I was bigger than I am now. So but the story gets better. Well, it got a bit worse, but it gets better for you guys. So I bought this from a guy just down the M11, like in the outskirts of London. Went down there with my mum, tried it, and this is how little I know about vehicles. So I got in, I think he drove it around with me, and then gave me the whole sales pitch, and he gave me a piece of paper, and it was folded at the bottom, and it was like, right, sign this. To say that this is your receipt kind of thing. So I did, and then I just put all the paperwork together, and then I drove the thing home, and I was driving it on the M11 back up to Harlow, and the thing was going like, really, it was flat out, and it was like it was going to explode at any minute. And I was like, I'm only doing like 30 miles an hour, what's going on? And it was awful. People were overtaking me, people were bibbing me, and I was just like this big fat guy just on a left-hand drive smart car, just going, sorry. Well, it turns out it had a blown turbo. Not that I knew smart cars had a turbo, but whatever it was blown. And underneath that folded piece of paper, if you unfold it, when I started looking, because I was going to call him and say, hey, look, mate, this really isn't good. When I unfolded the rest of that piece of paper, which was clearly folded for a reason, it said, sold as seen, spares and repairs. And I was like, you cheeky son of a... To say I was not happy was an understatement. Anyway, me and my brothers, we took it straight back down there, because he didn't want to answer the phone, but we took it straight back down there, and let's say we convinced him to give me my money back. But yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. Me on the M11 going about 30 miles an hour in this left-hand drive vehicle. Well, this left-hand drive smart car, not just a vehicle, a smart car. I couldn't have looked more ridiculous if I'd tried. So yeah, that's my little story about owning a left-hand drive car. I knew you'd find it funny. Come on, when have you messed up buying something? We've all done it. We've all done it. Next question, would you ever have an A-Class? Now, I have looked at a few A-Classes, and I do like some of the layouts, don't get me wrong, but there's a few bits that are a sticking point. Now, I do love the amount of glass and light that they bring in. This is fantastic. I mean, it's brilliant, right? I mean, if you're going to be sitting here, just even if you're parked up and you put your nose towards the view, I mean, looking at the view, you can't miss it, right? I mean, look at all this glass. So my sticking points with them is the dash. Now, it's not really useful to me. John and Tash, they've got an A-Class, they love theirs, but their girls, the cats, they use that as their space. And that makes great sense because that gives them their space. They love sunbathing, they love looking at people and watching the world go by whilst we're doing our stupid things, which is fantastic. They love a little bit of interaction every now and again, but not when you annoy them, not when you wake them up. They do not like that, but that is their area. Now for me, I mean, I don't think I'd fit across there. And if I did, I don't think it would last very long. And I don't think I'd look that great. I don't have a use for it. Not saying that everything has to have a use, but it just feels like a lot of space that I'm not going to use. And the second thing is the door. I like a door. I'm on my own, so I'm always in and out of the vehicle. Wherever I go, if I'm just popping into the petrol station, if I'm just pulling over here, I need to put a letter in the post box because I send so many letters. I get my ink and quill out and start writing. But you know what I mean, right? If I need to just jump out, it's quite a kerfuffle. I have to either go across there to the passenger door or I have to go out the hab door, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you're doing it over and over and over and over again, then it is quite a tedious task, I think, if you was on your own. Now, like I say, John and Tash have got an A-Class and they love theirs, and I think this is their second, and it works for them, you know. Tash can jump out and go do what she needs to do while John does this, but then he can jump out at the same time and do things, and they're in a rhythm with it. But I think if it was just me, I don't think it would fit my lifestyle, and that's what you really need to do. You need to be honest and open about your lifestyle and how the motorhome or camper van is going to fit perfectly into that. Next question is, if you couldn't have the motorhome layout that you've got right now in the Land Yacht, what layout would you have? And that's quite a good question, because this is where, you know, you have to really think about it. But I would say probably this kind of layout, but I'd like a bit of a bigger lounge. You've got twin beds at the back. I think that would be pretty cool. So I could just use one, I could use the other one, like if I had like my nephew come and stay with me or something, or I can make it into just a giant bed, which is brilliant. This also does give me the option that I've got a garage underneath, so I've got nice storage. It does give me a nice big toilet and shower again, which I like. I like the fact of having a big toilet and shower. One thing I do like with these kind of models is you can get them like this one with the drop down bed. I mean, just look at that, right? How good's that? So, you know, again, if my family wanted to come and stay with me, or if I wanted to just, I don't know, crash down here for one night, I don't know why, if I was carrying loads of stuff and I needed to use down there as some storage or whatever, I can then just pull this bed down and I've got two ready-made beds in an instant. So yeah, I do like that feature. The only thing I would like is a bigger lounge, because this lounge isn't the biggest for me personally, because I like to, you know, have a lot of people over, and I like my motorhome as like the party bus where we all gather. In all honesty, we're not really partying. We're either got the laptops out and we're working, or we're sitting around playing Uno or eating cheese. I mean, all great things, I think you'll agree, but yeah, it's not like, woo, party in the house. It's not. It's really not that. So yeah, this would be kind of the layout I'd go for, and I think you can get it in like a tag axle, this layout, which would be nice, because it'd give me a little bit more room, and then you could have a little bit of a bigger lounge. Now, this is a big question I get all the time, and it's quite a hard question to answer because it's so personal to you and your situation. But the question is, like, I've had a few different variations, is we want to get a motorhome but we don't know what one to get. What do you recommend? And then I get the other flip side of that question is, we're looking to go full time, but we're not sure what layout to go for. What do you recommend? What's a good motorhome? That's another one. What's the best motorhome to get? How do I answer that? This model, off you go. I mean, that just wouldn't work, would it? It really wouldn't work. I don't know what kind of, I mean, I love questions from you guys, I really do, and I encourage you to ask as many questions as you want. Ultimately, what motorhome should you choose? The only way you can do it is by going and look at motorhomes like this. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, or this, or this, or this. This is my biggest bit of advice I can give any of you. And this is where I said in the intro, I think a lot of you are doing it wrong, because I think you're idolizing and romanticizing the idea of getting a motorhome or going full time, depending on your situation, what you're doing. Because I think we kind of like look at it and, you know, there's an Instagram spin on it and this, that and the other of like, oh, I'm going to get a motorhome and I'm going to go away into the countryside and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to go on these hikes and these bike rides. I'm going to go on these lovely walks. I'm going to go sup boarding. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You've never done any of that in your life. Let's be honest. That's, you know, if you do that, you'd be doing it already now. It doesn't take a motorhome to be able to do any of those things. Like, let's take Andy and Michelle from Extreme Motorhoming, right? They do that stuff. They're out bike riding around mountains and lake rock beds and things, and they're hiking up hills that are, well, they're not hills, they're mountains, let's be honest. Them two are nuts. I love them to bits, but they are absolutely bonkers. They love the outdoors. They love being out there and doing extreme sports. I mean, it's in their name, right? Extreme Motorhome Adventures. So yeah, Andy and Michelle, they love it, and they need the space to carry the gear that they're gonna use. Now, I know for a fact, if you took the motorhome away from them two right now, and that's it, said you can never have another motorhome again, which would be brutal, but let's just play it along, they would still go mountaineering, they would still go rock climbing, they would still go mountain biking and do all this crazy adventures. They would still do it, and I'm pretty sure they were doing it before the motorhome. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I would bet money on it that they were doing it in some shape or form before that. Now, if you're thinking you're going to go do that, but you've never done it in your life, stop kidding yourself. You're not gonna. If you just like sitting on the sofa watching a movie with a bag of Doritos, just be honest with yourself, because there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I love a bag of Doritos, but you need to be honest with yourself, because this will affect layout so much. You need to be open and honest about how you're going to actually use the motorhome, your perfect weekend. And you need to think about when it's raining as well, you know, things like this. How are you actually going to use the motorhome if you are stopped still somewhere? Are you really going to go out on a bike ride? Are you really going to go out and do all this and the other? And I can openly admit, I don't use my bike as much as I should. I really don't. But that hasn't inhibited my, you know, my motorhome's factor. But if you based all your decision on being able to carry all this loads of gear, but you ultimately just like to sit on the sofa or chill out at the end of the day, then you're not going to have a nice sofa, because you've put all your effort into the storage. Now, don't get me wrong, you can hit sweet spots between everything. That is possible. But you need to be open and honest about how you're going to use a motorhome. You know, I would say that, you know, Andy and Michelle would then love, I mean, I'm using them as quite an example here because they're the only ones I know that do this crazy stuff. But after a long day out on the trail, bike riding, hiking, mountaineering, whatever they're doing, you know, conquering the world, I'm pretty sure they want to come home to a full-size made-up bed. Again, I can't remember the layout of their motorhome, but I'm assuming that is what I would want anyway. So that would be very high on their list, being able to carry all their stuff to do the adventures and the action stuff, and then being able to relax, rest, and recuperate once they're back at the motorhome chilling out. So those two things would be very high on their list, I'm assuming. Now, that would be on mine if I was doing that, but clearly I'm not a mountaineer. I do not do extreme motorhome adventures. For me, I want to have the nice lounge to be able to have a lot of people over. They can all come over just to have drinks, have food, you know, chill out, hang out. And I like being with all my mates. I like having multiple seating options for lots of people. Now, I've had about 10 or 12 people in my motorhome. If I based my decision on something else, like I was going to go out and I need all this, you know, I need to have a sup board, I need to have this, I need to have that, when I'm never going to use it, then I wouldn't have as big a lounge, and it wouldn't fit my lifestyle the way I want it. Now, how do you figure this out? The way to figure it out is, first off, be open and honest with yourself. Get that done and dusted, get that locked in. Then you need to figure out what your top of your list is. I mean, we're going to have, you know, you need to do the most important at the top of your list, and then work your way down. So mine would be always a fixed bed. Mine would be a nice lounge, would be German built, winterized, would be a garage. So they're kind of like my top must-haves, and then you work your way down. Now, there are going to be some things that you're going to sacrifice on, because there is no perfect motorhome. I think I was talking to Rob about this the other day, and he said the dream motorhome, the perfect motorhome that had everything, would be about 100 feet long, and he's right, it would, because you're not going to get everything, but you must have your non-negotiables. Now, once you've got your list of non-negotiables, you then need to boots on the ground. You need to get out there. You need to roll your sleeves up and get out there on forecourts, get to shows, come to places like Oak Tree. Now, I've been roaming around. Obviously, I do this all the time here. The people, the staff know me, and they see me walking around with a camera. They're like, "Oh, he's up to no good again." All the motorhomes and camper vans are unlocked, free to roam around. I've been filming this now in this motorhome for about 5 minutes. No one's here, so I can just go, yeah, how is this? This would work with my lifestyle, or I'm not too sure about that. The bathroom's not really that great, or it's not in the right position. Would we actually cook here? How is that? And you can do that. You can spend the whole day. Bring some sandwiches if you want. Just don't eat them in the motorhome. There is tea and coffee inside, which you are free to get, with some snacks. But you could spend the whole day here or at other forecourts and just test out layouts. You need to test layouts and be hunting them. Now, before I bought my motorhome, I went to the NEC, and I went to probably 15 forecourts, and then I was researching online, looking at photos, looking on YouTube. The research that you can do is easy. It's easy and it's fun. It really is. I love coming to places like these and having a nose. I just found that one at the very front that's just come in, and I was like, yeah, this is really nice, with a bed above the top, and I think it's the auto. I don't know what one it was. I look at so many, but it was really nice with a big lounge in there. But it wouldn't have suited me because there's no garage. But I love just roaming around them, and that's what you need to do. So my best advice is layout. And did I say it? Layout. That is what you need, because, and this is going to be controversial, the front end doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Let me clarify that. I know there's going to be some gearheads and some petrol heads out there that are going to be like, yeah, but it's not 180 brake horse, or yeah, but that's the wrong engine. That was the old engine, and that one's got this and this bells and whistles, and this one goes vroom vroom more than that one. You're not going to like that, I know, but I have no idea about the front end of these motorhomes, camper vans, and vans. I really don't. All I know how to drive them. They got wheels, they got a steering wheel, they got an engine. I can put it where it needs to go. Not a problem. Unless it's my smart car with a blown turbo. See, that just proves how little I know. But now, this is a very big generalization. If a gearbox goes, you just need a new gearbox, right? If an engine goes, you need a new engine. And again, if a clutch goes, you need a new clutch. It's pretty simple. Not cheap, not fun, not easy. I experienced the clutch not long ago. If you haven't seen that video, then definitely have a look at it up here or click down there. But on the whole, that's simple, right? You have something go wrong with the front end, be it an engine, a clutch, a gearbox, lights, radiators, all them. Then you go somewhere, a professional, like a mechanic, and you say, please help me, I need a new clutch. You have to pay, obviously, and it will cost a lot of money. I understand that, but they will fix it and it will be back on the road. Try and do the same with a layout. If you bought this motorhome, for instance, and then you walked back in here and said, yeah, Rob, I don't like the lounge there. Can we have it there? It wouldn't work, would it? You couldn't move it. You cannot change the layouts in these. I mean, slightly, very minutely, but on the whole, you cannot change the layout once you've got it. It would be so expensive, so ridiculously uneconomical, that it would be cheaper to just change the van, bring it in, sell it, and then get another one. And ultimately, that is why I harp on about layout, because it is so important. It really is. Now, are you going to get it perfect straight off the bat? Very rarely. You might end up going through a few over the course of the years. Because they are expensive bits of kit, you do need to try and make the best decision you can that, you know, will work out for you, your lifestyle, what you want it for, and how you're going to travel and have the best freaking time ever, because these are brilliant. I love motorhomes, I love camper vans, and I love being out on the road doing this day in, day out. Now, I hope that has helped a lot of you, because that is one of the biggest questions I get, and I think it's one of the ones like really can affect a lot of people, because yeah, where do you empty your toilet? Well, how do you do this? How do you do park ups? Which I've answered on the channel many times, and the videos in the description below if you want to go check them out. But they ultimately aren't going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of pain and a lot of anguish and a lot of stress and anxiety, whereas picking the wrong motorhome or camper van will. So I hope that has helped you. Now, if you are looking at getting a motorhome or a camper van, or you're thinking of changing the one you've got, then definitely swing into Oak Tree. They're in Nottingham, not far from the M1. Like I say, they've got so many motorhomes and camper vans on the pitch, which are all open for you to freely roam around. Plus, the office has got tea, coffee, hot chocolate and snacks. What more do you want? If I haven't got to your question, or you have got a question, then please do leave it in the comment section below, or feel free to reach out on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And I will be making more of these videos as I get more and more questions. So feel free to, like I say, leave one in the section below, and I'll catch you lovely lot in the next one. Take it easy. Bye.